Hello, I am Super Orange Cat, and I've got Toonami's ratings from August 3rd, 2019. Let's start at the top of the block. Dragon Ball Super pulls in a .31 this week. The debut of Genlock pulls in a .17. Fire Force is at a .15. Lupin the Third Part 5 is at a .13. Food Wars pulls in a .16 this week. Black Clover at a .16 as well. Boruto at a .15. His Father at a .14. Gundam to a .13. And My Hero Academia finishes off the block at a .12. And who can forget the world's greatest anime, Jumaseto Machu Picchu at a .08. In general, this week was a bit of a letdown. And let's start with the elephant in the room, that being the debut of Genlock to the block. I had a video saying this is going to be interesting for Tommy. It could be a smash hit out of the block. It could also falter. But I mentioned I had some lingering feelings it was going to be kind of a meh appearance, and this number really says it. .17. I was predicting .18, so I was not that far off. But not good retention. Pulling in only about pulling up, I'll say like 56, 57%. I'm doing rough math in my head here of the Dragon Ball Super audience. We've had shows do better that are currently on the block. And again, considering how much that Toonami advertised this, especially on their Facebook page, if you look at it, half their advertisements are for half of it's for Dragon Ball Super and half of it's for Genlock. At this point, they've kind of abandoned the other shows in terms of promotion. A .17 is pretty poor considering the promotion. It's a bit like Fully Coolly Progressive and Alternative, where I think there's a bit of a license to be a little harsher in their ratings because of the amount of hype behind it, because of the amount of advertising that Toonami has thrown behind it. So this just looks really poor, a .17 overall. But if you look at the rest of the block, two things stand out to me. One, Lupin is underperforming, and although it's probably my favorite show on the block currently, it, for the sake of the block, it needs to move later in the night. And that's one thing I think is inevitable soon when they change the schedule. Lupin's being pushed towards the end of the block. Although it's not that much of a long runner, especially compared to something like Food Wars, I just these numbers speak for themselves. Lupin's not staying this high for this much longer. And another thing I like to point out, if you followed Food Wars ratings, they started off being roughly on par with Lupin, which looks horrible because Lupin never pulls in great ratings. But if you've been watching it, it's been steadily building its own base, steadily increasing over time, and now it's decidedly doing better than Lupin. It held serve with Black Clover, which is notorious for building on the shows in front of it. It looks like Food Wars is starting to really build up a fan base. And considering the fact this is a long runner for Adult Swim, it'll have Food Wars on the block for more than a year. This can be a great thing for the block. This might be a bit presumptuous to say, but I think Food Wars might be the show to replace Dragon Ball as the leadoff when that ends in terms of appeal, because it's going to appeal. But again, this is pretty early. A lot of things can change. And again, Food Wars might start falling, but we are starting to get really into the nitty gritty of the first season. It's getting really interesting. I would highly recommend Food Wars to anyone right now. And again, something good to see. Then you have Boruto. Boruto continuously was pulling in sub .1s not too long ago. Now it's doing a .15. That's good. But yeah. And also you have My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia has been kind of weird since moving to 330. First off, it was pulling in good numbers, partially attributed to the DVR bump, but at the same time, a lot of people mean it's just a very die-hard, devout fan base. They're going to watch it whenever. But last week was again one of those episodes that's very hyped, one of the fan favorite episodes of the series, but it only pulls in a .12, finishing the lowest of any Adult Swim show that night. And that's just something kind of disappointing to see. And if there's any wavering on whether we get season 4, now I think I think it's almost a guarantee there's going to be no season 4 in Toonami. Sorry. It's just not going to happen. But what do you guys think? Do you think Genlock debuted well? Do you think that Lupin the Third needs to be sent down the block? Do you think Food Wars might be, against all odds, the show that ends up being our savior for when Dragon Ball Super ends? What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. If you want more content like this, if you want more Toonami related content, please subscribe. Please hit that like button and hit that notification button. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.